Do you want to grow sales faster? You need more trust with your prospects and clients. Welcome to the 2021 Trust Building Challenge, brought to you by Selling from the Heart. Each day, you'll be challenged and equipped with new ideas to grow and sustain trust. You'll discover practical ideas that you can put to work right away to help you grow your sales. You're about to be coached by some of the world's foremost sales thought leaders and practitioners. This is going to be practical and fun. So grab a pen and notepad and get ready to take action as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Daryl Amy.
Oh my, welcome back to the 2021 Trust Building Challenge. Daryl Amy here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
I am so excited. What a terrific day yesterday, but I'm super excited because we decided to switch colors on shirts. So
there you go.
That was good. Nothing like showing up wearing the same color.
Hey, we're glad to be here today, and we have got oh my goodness, just wait till you get to meet Don Barden. I got to tell you something though. If you don't have a pen and at least two pages of note paper, if not more, you're going to get so much from this conversation today, and I'm so excited for you to meet here in a few minutes our friend Don Barden. Just incredible value. But as we get started, I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's here today. In fact, give us a shout out in the chat. Liz Wendling's back in the house.
I love Liz Wendling.
Look who else is here, Larry. And that was such a great video you left yesterday evening. We got Matt Nelson back in the house today. Bill McCormick's here. It's going to be so much fun. And welcome back, Dave. It's good to see you as well. And thank you for your visionary encouraging video about how you're building trust as a sales leader. This is just so good. And it's so cool, Larry, to see the community of sales professionals that's forming around this topic of saying, hey, you know what? I want to get better at building trust. And I love it. I love what's going on here. And I love the heart behind this group. So big shout out to everybody in this challenge.
I knew it was all out there, Daryl. Authenticity and trust. We're giving everyone the community to wave the flag, wave the flag around. It's okay to lead with trust, integrity, authenticity, and heart.
That's right. Absolutely. And by the way, if you're hanging out yesterday, you learned about the VIP party. It's coming up Thursday evening. That's tomorrow evening, Larry.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to hang out at 5 o'clock Eastern, and it's just going to be a little happy hour with some of our presenters and other fellow participants. We also got some cool swag, which, Larry, I understand the swag bag this year includes Selling from the Heart socks. Is that right?
Yes. I'll show them off tomorrow. So,
all right. Well, that's good. You're going to wear your Selling from the Heart socks tomorrow.
I'll hold them up. I'll be wearing them, but I'm going to hold up a pair of Selling from the Heart socks. Actually, really cool.
Nobody wants to see your feet, Larry, but there is a link if you want to join. If you want to join the VIP group, we'd love to have you. There's a link in the chat. And also, we got a special announcement this morning, Larry. We have got a bonus episode coming up next week, and I'm so excited about this. Check this out. We're going to hear, where is it? There he is.
Oh, there's Todd.
Capone is coming on the 2021 Trust Building Challenge. Todd is incredible. I can't wait for you to meet Todd.
I just go, but there you go. Transparency. So Todd's a kindred spirit, Selling from the Heart. You can catch his. In fact, we'll make sure that we send it out. You can catch Todd on the podcast just a few weeks ago. Absolutely brilliant. He's going to talk about trust and transparency. One of the best out there.
Well, and I absolutely love this one. Just a shout out to Todd because Larry, I started selling a little bit after you, but I learned to sell based on transparencies, right? It was Tom Hopkins stuff on transparencies. Well, the transparency sale is actually wrapped into transparency. You're going to love Todd Capone. Make sure to mark your calendars for next Tuesday, same time, same channel, 12 o'clock Eastern with Todd Capone. Well, we've got a great day today, and I just want to say a huge shout out as we get started today to our friends over at BombBomb. BombBomb is helping us really build trust by giving us the tools that we need to put a human face in what's become very faceless business right now, Larry. And I'm so excited about BombBomb and what they've done to really give us a tool that enables us to accelerate trust building.
And what's really cool about this is I'm seeing the names in chat there's some BombBomb users in the chat right now. So special shout out to everyone who's latched on the BombBomb bandwagon. It's just a phenomenal way to bring yourself to life and put a face behind faceless communication.
So we got a quick word from our friends at BombBomb, and then we're going to dive into our content today. It's going to be so exciting.
To sell from the heart is to rehumanize your business. Hi, my name is Ethan Butte, and along with my good friend Steve Passanelli, I co-authored Rehumanize Your Business. And when Larry and Daryl were kind enough to host me on the Selling from the Heart podcast to talk about Rehumanize, we were instantly connected. And it's because we have something very important in common, and I probably have it in common with you too, and that is a strong, strong preference for authenticity, honesty, and sincerity throughout the sales process. Not just hitting the number, but hitting the number in the right way, in a way that we can be proud of, and in a way that makes our customers want to come back again, and come back for more, and come back with a friend or a referral or a recommendation as well, right? We want to sell from the heart, and something that can help you do that, something that can help you connect and communicate with people in a way that allows them to feel your sincerity is BombBomb. BombBomb allows you to reach out with videos instead of faceless digital communication. Simple webcam and smartphone videos in emails, in LinkedIn messages, in Slack messages, and text messages from Salesforce, from BombBomb, from Gmail, from our mobile app. So many different ways to do it. And it's all available to you 2 weeks, no credit card information required, absolutely free at bombbomb.com/heart. That's BOMB.com/heart. I know you'll enjoy it, and more importantly, I know that the people you reach out to will enjoy it as well. Try it free today.
Oh, that's great.
That's so good.
And when you do that, if you're new to BombBomb, try it out and record your first video and put it in the LinkedIn group that is here with the Trust Challenge. We've got a private LinkedIn group. I'm going to put the link in the chat. This is for all the participants in the challenge. It's a great place to network and go deeper into some of the topics we're talking about. But yeah, when you sign up for BombBomb, use that to put it in the LinkedIn group. It's really, really cool. So Larry, we're here talking.
We got to dive in, Daryl.
Yeah, let's talk about trust. Let's talk about trust. And as we're talking about this, if you're joining us for the first time today, we're glad you're here. You want to go back and see what Marcus Ogden had to say yesterday, because it was so powerful. But the reality is, as sales professionals, we have all kinds of challenges, right? I mean, getting attention with prospecting, avoiding the RFP trap. What about the ghosting? Like, why is they not returning my call? Where did they go? I thought, all of these things that happen, margin pressures, referral challenges, deals stuck in the pipeline. One thing these all have in common is that they can all benefit from what, Larry?
Trust.
More trust. It is actually really incredible when you think about it. More trust, more sales. And this past weekend, I've got a list of honeydew projects, but the one I've been avoiding the most is a tree that fell down in my backyard. And so you'll be proud of me, Larry. I'm not just involved in motivating, encouraging, and equipping sales professionals. I can use a chainsaw. At least I think I can. So anyhow, and I'm very sore today, but I cut this tree down. It was all wet and everything. I had a big pile of brush, and I needed to get it on fire. I couldn't get it burning. And so, you know what I did? I put some accelerant on it. That's what I like to call it, diesel fuel. And when you
by me, we call that charcoal fluid.
That's right. Well, either way, but you know what? I was thinking about the trust challenge while I was trying to get this lit. It would have been impossible to get that pile of brush lit. But when you start to put the right fuel on top of it, all of a sudden, it bursts into flames, and I got everything taken care of. And then most importantly, Leslie is happy because the tree is crossed off the list. But here's, when you think about sales right now, and this is where we are, you look at all those challenges and, you realize that more trust equals more sales. But trust is something that we have to work on. It's something that we can grow in. It's a set of skills we can develop. And Larry, this is the formula that we have been using to guide our thinking through this challenge about trust. And everyone goes, "Oh no, math! I got a math."
Well, no, we could, because I know he's on this. I know he's watching. We can blame Dave Sanderson for the equation. So
that's tomorrow's guest. Dave Sanderson got us thinking about this. What are the components of trust? And so we showed this yesterday. We're going to run through it today and take a deep dive into this authentic relationship here for a moment. But trust is the combination of authentic relationships plus meaningful value. These are the two sides of the trust coin, right? If you can have, like we said yesterday, if you have authentic relationships without meaningful value, you're going to have a lot of friends and you're going to be broke. If you have meaningful value, but you don't have any relationships, you're going to be really smart and you're going to be broke. Right? So how do you bring those two together? Those two we got to work on both of those at the same time. And then the multipliers are, how do we make that experience inspirational? And how do we combine that with disciplined habits, types of things that Marcus was talking about yesterday? But Larry, as we're thinking about this formula today, I just want to talk for a few moments as we're getting ready for Dawn to come on board about authentic relationships. This is, you just think of the greats in sales. We buy from people we know, like, and trust, right? We got to know them. We got to like them. That's the authentic relationship side. And if we fumble the ball here in the relationships, that's where we get in trouble. And that kind of brings up some of our thinking from one of the greatest thinkers of all time. Would like to invite Mr. Albert Einstein to the challenge. So
hey, how's it going, Albert? Right? But I think
we got his wisdom. He's not here live. Sorry, folks, but we got his wisdom.
Yeah, and I think this really sets up part of this equation with the authentic relationships and the meaningful value. Just, follow along on this quote, because I think this is so impactful. Albert Einstein goes on to say this: whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. Let's just think about this in its simplest format. In order for you to build trust, you're going to have to bring authentic relationships and meaningful value. It's the small little things in the very beginning of these conversations. Well, guess what? If they don't trust you and you're not making them feel comfortable, I don't think they're going to trust you with their important business matters. They're not going to share. They're not going to share at all, Daryl.
Yeah, it really is the things that we do to develop authentic relationships. And I know in just a few moments, Dawn is going to coach us on this in a way that is really, really powerful in all of this. But this is the thing, we've got to understand that relationship is the core of this. And, it's interesting when we think about this, there's a side of this where we've got to be, learn how to develop these relationships, drive conversation, and build relationships across multiple communication platforms now. And then there's also a real practical side of this where we got to make sure, as sales professionals, we're responsible to build relationships across all of our, our target accounts, and it's multiple people deep across our current clients. So one of the things that we found really helpful is a relationship map. And when we're coaching sales people, one of the things that I think is really important is not only developing those relational skills, but also using the tool of a relationship map to be able to really understand, who do I need to build relationships with, and how am I doing that? Am I making sure that there's a cadence and that it's actually happening, that it's not just a good intention, that I'm actually executing on it?
Yeah, no, I just got to layer in something. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked looking at the comments, but freaking Bill McCormick, right? Hey, Bill, if you can pull Albert Einstein into the insiders group, then that's going to be a miracle. I had to see that. I was listening to what you're saying, Daryl, but I got sidetracked.
Well, the insiders group's great, Bill, but I don't know if we're going to get Einstein as up close and personal. We'll see. But
we'll have to drill into the family tree somewhere.
But if you think about this, when it comes to developing our ability to grow in authentic relationships, there are some core skills. And one of the things we're really, really excited about following on to this this challenge, following on to this challenge for those that want to grow deeper, those that want to dramatically increase their sales results and their fulfillment at the same time, we are inviting a select group of 12 participants into the Trust Building Intensive. And this is going to be an intensive. It's going to be intense. It's going to go across the 3 core disciplines of authentic prospecting, authentic selling, like how do we move stuff through the pipeline, and how do we build trust with our clients so that we don't just land the business, but we expand, right? We don't close business. We open a relationship, as Mark Hunter says. And so the Trust Building Intensive, several of you yesterday said, yes, I don't know what the details are yet, but I want to be a part of it. We will have details for you coming up later this week. But hey, if you want to be a part of the Trust Building Intensive and you go, that's what I need. This is the idea of what I need to grow my sales in Q4. And most importantly, to grow my income in 2022. If that is you, just let us know in the chat, reach out to us by private message, and we'll give you advanced notice on the program, and we'll make sure you're first in line for what is going to be a really great elite group of sales professionals that are going to crush it in 2022. And I'm so excited about the Trust Building Intensive.
Yeah, so am I. And I go back to one word, it's the accelerant. What Daryl and I are putting together is the accelerant. It's going to take you, you're going to finish Q4 strong, but this is the accelerant for a great start in Q1 into 2022.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for more details. If you want advanced notice on that, get to the front of the line, put it in chat or private message us. Either way is great. Well, today, oh my goodness, Larry.
Get ready. Put the seatbelt on for this.
Get ready. We have got a special guest today that I am so excited for everybody to meet. Don Barden is, I just don't know what, the long list of good things we could say probably take most of the rest of the hour. But Don is the author of what is one of my most favorite
this book
books.
Is amazing.
Pure dynamite. It is, when you see a book that says a perfect plan, you go, is that really the perfect plan? I think it actually is. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, welcome to the 2021 Trust Building Challenge. Our friend, our coach today, Don Barden. Don, welcome to the challenge.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Hey, I've always said if you're gonna make something up, make it good. So keep going. You're doing
Hey, Don, you should see. I mean, I just got about $100 virtual dollars from Sanderson for that one. So
from Dave Sanderson. Oh, really? Okay, that cheap guy won't give me anything, but that's great.
Don, I gotta say, there's some books I read, and you read the first few chapters and you feel like you got it. This book is dog-eared, highlighted, and all the way through. This is pure gold when it comes to building trust and accelerating your sales success. What I love about you, and why I can't wait to hand the stage off to you, is you build from both experience and research. Like you're a behavioral economist, is that right?
Yeah. I'm actually more of a frustrated anthropologist, but yeah, and the reason is I care more about why people make the decisions they do than I care about yield curves and interest rates. I mean, those are fine. I can lecture on that all day long, but that's yesterday's news. Human behavior is an art, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and it actually drives economics. So I'm always real close to say, yeah, there's the nerdy kind of boring econ that turns most people off, and when they go to college, and then there's the cool part of economics, which is behavior and decision making, and that's what I really like.
Oh, it's so good. Well, we're excited, ladies and gentlemen, right here in the 2021 Trust Building Challenge Studios. We have a successful entrepreneur. We have an incredibly successful sales professional. We have someone that coaches the elite groups of our military. We've got somebody that gives back, all around great guy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hand it over. Don Barden, take us away.
Oh, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Hey, you guys are doing great work. I mean, this is amazing. And I really appreciate the concept of bringing trust back to sales because, I tell people all the time, nothing, and keep in mind, nothing in history has ever happened unless somebody sold somebody something. The concept of the Great Pyramids in Giza, I mean, somebody had to sell Ramses on this concept of a really cool graveyard, a tombstone that people will be seeing 5,000 years later. The wonders of this country, even with all of its faults and bumps and issues, is built on the concept of selling that there's a better tomorrow, and it's all founded on trust. So what you guys are doing is just amazing. Keep it up. It's just going to be fascinating. I appreciate you having me. The only thing I'm concerned about, I've got my little timer here, is you've given me 20 minutes to give you what took us 5 years of a doctoral study and to get there. So why don't I throw it back to you? You tell me, where do you want to start on this? Because I could go on for days talking about this concept that you put together. So where do you want to begin? Tell me and we'll jump in. So buckle up. Oh, can't hear.
Right. I'll tell you
There you go.
exactly where I want to begin, Don.
Okay, good.
And that's on unmuting the mic and then talking about the 3 promises, because the way that you recommend beginning a sales interaction, relationship, and all of that is really, really different than how I was taught.
Yeah.
So,
It's not a transaction. Yeah, it's not a transaction, which is why I just love this whole concept around trust and selling from the heart. So you guys have nailed it on this. And to take a step back, it's more important to understand things than it is to know things. And I think a lot of times in sales is we teach salespeople about what they need to know, but they don't really understand it. So when we did the perfect plan, it was literally a doctoral study that was commissioned by Wall Street. And I went out there and I said, yeah, we can do some things here. We can tweak this. We can improve pricing. We can improve financing. There's 1,000 things you can do to try to grab market share. But has anybody ever asked why? What is it about these elite folks that make them different? So we studied people. We studied the largest, I'm not kidding, the largest tortilla manufacturers in Mexico. We studied the fish markets in Japan. We studied dairy farmers in Italy. I mean, we went across every industry you can imagine with a simple question. How did you do it? What makes you elite in doing things? But the most important part was that we wanted to understand it, not just give me a formula. So if you give me the luxury, I'd love to back up just a second and talk about that, because trust was the paramount issue that boiled down amongst these elite producers around the world. And again, it doesn't matter if it's dairy, tortillas, fish, financial services, whatever, copiers, it does not matter. It all boils down to trust. But when it comes to the human behavior behind that, there's some interesting things that I think salespeople need to know. And there were 2 formulas where we were able to get our head around that was just mind blowing on this. And number one, and this is painful for me to say because it's going to happen again here today, is when any type of presentation is done, oral, face to face, a communication between 2 breathing, living human beings, 10 minutes after you're done. Just 10 minutes after the meeting is over with, the person that you're presenting to can only remember 6% of what you said, but they can remember 100% about how they felt about you forever. So think about this. When you're talking to somebody, you're really, really excited about this and you're really driving it and you want to sell your product and you want to do what's right and transfer the value and create hopefully a new friend out of it and control your income. But all of these words that are coming out go onto deaf ears. I mean, they might hear it in the beginning, but again, 10 minutes after you're done, they can only remember 6% of what you said, but they remember 100% of how they felt about you forever. And then with a little side note here, women remember 100% forever plus eternity. They don't forget anything. So you got to be careful about this, guys. So think about this. If it boils down to really how they feel about you, what is it that they're looking for in the sales process? And this is all science. It talks about this in the book. At the end of the day, 85% of the decision to engage you is going to be based on that emotional connection. And only 15% of their ability to say, okay, I want to go forward with this person. I want this transfer of value. Only 15% is based on the facts, what it is you're actually selling. Now, a lot of old school salespeople who aren't really involved in the trust concept and they're still trying to make a transaction, which is okay. It's just going to be very, very limited to what you can do. But if you really want to grow 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, you've got to get into this trust concept here. But what they're saying to you, think about this. If they only need to hear 15% of the facts to engage you, and the other 85% is based on how they feel about you, which is driven by trust, what is that saying? Is it saying that the buyer is dumb or stupid or doesn't want to know? No, it's just the opposite. What it says is that 15% is all they need to know enough that you know, so that they can transfer value to you. If they wanted to know everything that you know in sales, they would be you. They would go back to school. They would put the time in. They would do it, but they don't want that. What people are really doing in that sales connectivity part about the transfer of value is they are outsourcing their success to you. And they only need to know 15% of what you're saying to realize that you are that person. And the rest of it is they really want to like you. They really, really want to feel good about you. Because one of the biggest things that I think salespeople need to grasp is you're not the only show in town. I mean, there are other really, really good decisions that client or that prospect can make. And I would always go when I was in just frontline sales, especially if I knew my competitors, I would always compliment them. I'd always start off a meeting by saying, hey, I was waiting out in the hall and I saw who was in here before you. I know those folks. And guess what? They're fantastic. They keep their word. I've known them forever in the industry. And it's an admirable thing to know that you're looking at the two of us. But congratulations, you put yourself in a position where you cannot make a bad decision. Whether you go with us or whether you go with them, you're fine. They're great. They're going to keep their promises. And I just want you to know that. So let's just relax and get to know each other and see if maybe I'm the better fit for you today. But if not, relax. Those other folks you were talking to, I know them. They're great. You can't make a bad decision. And when I would say stuff like that, it would go, wow, what are you saying? And I'm like, I'm just saying you're making good decisions here. I just want to see if we're the proper fit, if we can create this kind of bond where we can be real partners in here. Because all I want is for you to outsource success to me on this project, whatever it is. But from this point on, you go back and build widgets, sell homes, do whatever it is that you're doing. You go run your business. Outsource this to me. We'll take care of it, or we'll supply you whatever you need to make your business better. But trust us. But trust starts with honesty, and it starts with just telling the truth, and it starts by selling from the heart, like you guys are all about. And I think if people understand it versus knowing it, if you understand that, they want to outsource to you. They don't want to know everything you know. They just want to know enough to know that you do know, but they really, really want to like you. And what is the main driver of that is trust. And how do you get there? You get there by telling the truth. And one of the words that I forbid in the whole trust conversation is competition or competitive. The Greek word for that, for competition, compendo, compendai, whether it's feminine or masculine, however you use it, it literally means static or the same. So if somebody comes in and says, hey, we've got competitive pricing, or we're competitive in this delivery, what you're saying is you're just the same as everybody else. So great, big deal. What the customer really wants is outsourcing success to somebody they can trust. And if you go into it knowing that the verbal vomit's not going to work, telling them everything you know, they don't want to know that. They just want to know enough to know that you do know. But what they really want is to feel good about you. And that's sort of the game changer that sets us up for those promises that you guys were just talking about. So I just want to back up on that and chat about that, because I can teach you the 3 promises right now, and any salesperson out there can start doing this, and they will double their business this year. If you want to go 5X, 10X, 100X, you've got to know why. And I think that's the most critical part of it is the 85, 15, 6%, and 100. 85% of the decisions based on how they feel about you. 15% is based on the facts. They're going to only remember 6% of what you say 10 minutes after it's done, but they're going to remember 100% about how they felt about you forever. So if you just get that down, then you can shape the conversation and get into those promises. So I just want to back up a little bit. Sorry, I get excited.
No, it's all good, but you got to, but if you can,
and we're going for this.
I've only had 6 cups of coffee, so I'm right there with you.
Oh, that was early. Okay, I had my 6 cups, and then I've had
Hey, you got to come prepared to the trust building challenge.
Daryl drinks coffee all the time, but you do have to peel back the promises, and I know in a short period of time it's a lot to grasp. You all can follow it in the book, but the promises are so. I mean, I love them. If you could just one by one just shed a little bit of light on those and how this really helps to build that trust, that'd be huge.
Yeah. Oh, love to. Thank you. Yeah, it's about 3 promises and 3 beliefs. But what's interesting are the 3 promises. That's the order of all things. What you do as a sales professional when you're talking to people has to follow. I hate the word agenda because that's not really right, but it kind of gets it in your head. You have to follow these 3 steps in order, and we call it the 3 promises, because those are the promises that you're making to somebody. And if anybody's writing it down, it's real simple. It's gratification, education, and ease of business. Gratification, education, ease of business. So the first one is gratification. The second promise is education. Why are you here? And the third promise is ease of business. And it has to go in that order. And it's all science. Like I said, it's part of the anthropology, behavioral science thing. But at the end of the day, we know certain things are absolutely true. And if a sales professional follows this, it sets them up to build on that 85-15 concept of 85% is about how they feel about you and only 15% is the facts. So the reason these elite salespeople open up every conversation, every email, every text, every voicemail, anything that they're due, it has to open with gratification. Gratification has to be a sincere outpouring from the heart. Now, it doesn't have to be gooey. You don't have to hug them. You don't have to do anything, but you need to take a step where you just spend a minute and you express your gratitude for the opportunity. Or more importantly, you express their gratitude for something that they've done. And it could be unrelated to the sale. Like you might see that the company supplies scholarships to kids in need. So open it up if you believe this. That's got to be real. By saying, hey, I was doing my research on you. And, oh my God, I see that you give over 100 scholarships a year to kids in the inner city. That means a lot to me. I mean, I grew up with not a whole lot of means and I've tried to do everything I can, but man, let me tell you, that does not go unnoticed. So thank you for being you. Thank you for your work. And again, a little sidebar, don't kiss up. Just have that connection where there's an expression of gratitude. Most people, when they do that, come in and just blow through it quickly. Hey, thanks for having me today. Let's dig in. No, take a minute and breathe and express true, honest, sincere gratitude for somebody for something. There's got to be real. And here's why. In the behavioral world, in behavioral economics, and I don't want any emails about neurons versus chemicals or whatever, because it gets all confusing. But in the brain, when somebody feels an expression, they're a recipient of a true act of gratitude, something magical happens. And that magic is based around a bonding agent that occurs. So if you go out there and you present sincerely gratitude to somebody, then they're not only going to receive it, but a magical thing happens. They become bonded to you because no one, and I mean no one, takes the time to recognize other people's work. And Tony Robbins said it. That was one of his earliest books. He said, all anybody wants is to be wanted, right? So by you expressing gratitude for somebody for their work, their social behavior, just anything other than the cursory thanks for having me today, forget that. But you take a moment and express gratitude, they literally are bonded to you. And here's where it gets crazy, guys. That bond is inseparable with one exception, and that's lack of trust. So it goes back to this whole selling from the heart and the trust initiative that you're doing. As long as they can trust you, they are bonded to you, even when they can't express it or get it out and tell why. They have this thing that says, wow, man, Larry and Daryl here the other day, and man, there's just something about those guys. I'm connected to them. They're always so sincere and they take the time to say wonderful things and they're just nice people. So they might not be able to express it, but when somebody receives a true, sincere appreciation for their work, oh man, changes the game completely. Because most other salespeople are just trying to get to the meat of the matter. So open it up. The first promise is gratitude. But then you need to slowly move into why are we here? What's going on here? Now, keep in mind that 85-15 rule. They only need 15% of the facts to make the decision that they can outsource to you because they know enough to know that you know, but they really, really want to feel good about you. So here's the science around this. And sales folks out there are listening, please, I know this is going to kill you. I know you work real hard. I know you stay up all night reading your charts and your products and your pricing and competitive advantages and all that. And that's important. You need to do that. But when it comes time to communicating to your prospect, to your customer, do not do the verbal vomit. Do not do the show up and throw up. Don't get out there and just tell them everything you know. Because what happens is, remember what I said, that they only need 15% of the facts, but they need to remember, or they will remember 100% about how they felt about you forever. If you overdo the facts, then that memory becomes boredom. The guy talked over me. Gosh, he seems like a nice guy, but good God, when he comes in, he just talks and talks and talks and talks. So you don't want to change the facts. That's important, 15% of the decision-making process. You don't want to change that into an emotional reaction. So going back to understanding, here's what's the most important thing about the facts. You have to keep it, whether it's an email, oral conversation like we're having now, whatever. You have to keep the facts to 3 things or less. I prefer 2, okay? And here's why. If a sales professional is presenting something to somebody and you say 3 things or less, you're good. You're gold, actually. But if you add a fourth thing to the conversation, do you realize, guys, that there's a 25% fail rate? If you add a fifth thing to the conversation, there's a 50% fail rate. And if you add a sixth thing, 100% fail. They're gone. And the reason is, assuming most people are speaking English, it's the complexity of the language. So the more and more we dump on people's laps, the more and more that they feel that they need to absorb, the less and less they feel like they need you. And the less and less that gratitude bonding agent has command of the situation. And what happens is, like I said earlier, the more of a verbal dump that you do on them, the more that they look at you and it becomes emotional, and you've lost it. You've taken over. So you've got to go into every sales scenario, again, open up with a sincere attitude of gratitude, appreciate your work, everything you're doing, you're making an impact on lives, love to partner with you, but even if it doesn't work out, thank you. Oh my God, thank you for what you're doing in this community. Now, I understand today we're here to talk about whatever. I've got two ideas. Are these two something you want to discuss? We can talk about more, but I thought we just narrowed down to two things because I would love for you to outsource the success of this project to us so you can go out and build your business and do what you need to do. Don't worry about us. We will take care of this project. I guarantee you, folks, 99% of them will lean back in their chair and go, thank God. You only want to talk about 2 or 3 things because I'm limited on my time, or I don't want to be bored, or I don't really care. You know, there's 1,000 things they'll do. But imagine if you come in and say, hey, I'm really doing some research here. I've got this 50-page proposal. Let's start on page 1, paragraph 1, sentence 1, and work our way through it. You got a few hours? Oh, God, they're going to be counting the ceiling tiles pretty soon. And they're going to be thinking, yeah, these guys are really smart. And God, I can't sit through this. It's so boring every time. Versus you open up with an attitude of gratitude. Then you come to them with just 2 things, maybe 3. I prefer 2. And you say, is this enough? Or would you like to talk about something else? 99% of the time, they're going to be so grateful that not only they bonded with you already, but now you're respecting them and you're treating them the right way. They're going to immediately say, great idea. Hey, here's 2 of our concerns. Can we talk about this? Might not be what you were thinking, but who cares? You're a professional. Deal with it. So you just talk about 2 things, but you've created such a level of respect to them. They float out of there because you're not dumping on them. You're literally making it better for them. So think about this. Promise number 1 is gratitude. Promise number 2 is, education. Why are we here? It's got to be 3 things or less. I prefer 2. But then you move into the third promise, which is my favorite, and that's ease of business. You see, people have got enough stuff going on in their life. They don't need you to make it harder. So they need to know that outsourcing success to you might be important. It might be a big project. There might be a lot of moving parts, but at the end of the day, engaging you, your team, your company, your firm, however you're set up, is going to be easier than not engaging you. Because all anybody wants is a better tomorrow. They want it to be easy for them. Again, even with moving parts, we know there's a lot of complexities in the world, but they're not going to hire you to make their life miserable or to dump more things on them. They're going to hire you because they trust you. They bonded with you because you were grateful to them. You clearly articulated what it was in 2 or 3 things or less. And then you gave them the promise that tomorrow is going to be a better day, that you can make their life easier by engaging you. So gratification, education, and ease of business. If a sales professional goes out there not knowing anything and just follows those steps, I promise you guys, you will double whatever metric it is that you're judged by in just 1 year or less. So if you're doing $1 million in sales, you'll do 2 million. If you're doing 5 million, you'll do 10 million. If you're doing 20, you'll do 40. That's a guaranteed double just by following that process. But you have to go in order. You take this out of order, the whole thing falls apart. You have to bond with them with that trust quotient, that gratitude. Make it so they clearly understand why they should engage with you. Keeping in mind, they're not going to remember any of it when it's done. And then at the end of the day, knowing that engaging you is going to be easier, those 3 promises are universal in every language, every culture, historically universal. If you go back and read great writings and lectures of things in the past, great presidential speeches, you will see gratification, education, and ease of business every single time. So it's like the world's worst kept secret. It's right there in your face. And when you see it, you're going to go, holy crap. I see it everywhere. I see all these great speech writers, and they're using that methodology. And they're using it for a reason. And the reason is it's scientifically backed. So you need to do it. Those 3 things alone would change your life.
This is so good. They're a great word. Matt Nelson just nailed it. gold. This is pure gold. This is like an MBA and a PhD wrapped up in 20 minutes, but it's so simple.
I appreciate that.
No. Well, there was one behind it, and that's what's cool about this.
Thank you. That's great. No, I'm kidding.
Thanks
I love
for
it.
your
Thank
years
you.
and years of study.
You know what this is? It's structuring the obvious, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows every single piece of that, but they don't understand why. So if you just take a minute and breathe as a sales professional and think about not just pitching a product, but understanding the engagement, understanding why that person wants to engage you, it's a game changer. So we know the science. It's just a matter of enacting it. And it's just like athletics. You know what has to be done. You know the type of work and effort you got to put into it. Go out there and do it, and you will have the positive results. Just pitching blindly, you'll do okay. But really, do you want that type of life? Sales professionals have the greatest job in the world. You get to get up every day, make new friends, and you get to control your income and your schedule. There's no better deal out there than that. So if you can go and be better at it and be exceptional to your peers, why wouldn't you want to do that? But it takes the ability to understand it to go do it.
Hey, there's some questions I see that's coming.
Yeah, I'm just going to tee up some great questions. And if you have questions, by the way, we've got a few moments for that, and just put them in the chat there on YouTube. But of course, 85% is about how you made them feel. 15% are on the facts. Jackie says, why do you think it's so difficult for leaders in sales to get this when the stats make it obvious?
Yeah, because, and again, it's you're confusing activity with production. Really. And a lot of people think, oh, I've worked so hard on this. I've stayed up for a week preparing for this presentation. I just want to tell them everything because I've worked so hard. And anybody in sales will tell you, it is probably the loneliest job in the world. I mean, you are only as good as your last deal, right? So you've got to wake up every day and start the clock all over again. And I think we put so much effort into it, and we tend to get lonely. And we just want to be able to share all of our knowledge. But the reality is that actually kills the deal. What is your ultimate goal? What are you trying to do? You're trying to outsource or allow them to outsource success to you. You're trying to get the deal. Well, that means sometimes you got to check your ego. You got to relax a little bit and realize, and this is a hard word, how inconsequential you are to the person that you're selling something to, because there are other choices. There are other great companies out there and great salespeople that if they bought from them, they're fine. That's why I used to acknowledge that in the very, very beginning. So if you think about it, it's almost like you're directing your own play. If you go to a Broadway play, the director has sat there and she said, look, here are all the actors. Here's the script. You might say, but wait a minute, I've been training acting forever. I want to say more than 2 lines. Well, those 2 lines are critical to the narrative of the story to get the audience to feel the way we want them to feel. So please just say the 2 lines. But if you get up and change the narrative, you've screwed the whole deal. So you work all your life to be a great actor or a great salesperson or a great professional, and you want to do more. But the reality is no. What you really want is production, and you want that client to have the ability to outsource success to you. And then they will share it with the whole world, even if they don't know why. They might say, man, there's something about Larry and Daryl that when they're there, I don't know what it is. I've been bonded with these guys. And you know what? They never waste my time. It's clear, concise, it's cogent. They're in and out. But you know what? At the end of the day, my life is better because I work with them. They make my life easier. And then if somebody says, well, what do they talk about? They're going to go, I don't know, but man, hire them. They're great. Do you want that?
It's so true.
Hey, rewind that again, Barden. Just rewind what you just said.
Yeah, I know. But seriously, do you want that, or do you want to sit there and say, oh, yeah, I told this client everything I've ever learned in my life in an hour? No, you want the deal. So, we talk about, there's a theory you have in the book called Win the Lobsters. And I'll regress for 2 seconds because I think this is a cool story. Years ago, I was not exactly light at the company. I worked for a big Wall Street firm, and I was the #1 sales rep, and I had gotten in a position where I was the highest paid guy at the company. And there were certain sales managers there who did not like that. Now, you would think, who wouldn't care about that? Well, I had one that didn't. He had an ego problem. He had some issues. They brought us into sales training, and we had to go through this whole thing, and our team had to present in front of a hypothetical board, a hypothetical sales pitch, just to see if we could do it. So my team got all excited about it, and they said, hey, look, we're ready to do this. Here's how we're going to do it. And I said, what are you trying to do? And they said, well, we're going to try to sell this thing. And I'm like, no, You got the wrong idea. You can't sell a hypothetical product to a hypothetical group who actually has a target on you because they want to prove that you're not as good as you say you are. What is the prize? And the prize for the #1 sales presentation was live Maine lobsters sent to your home the following week. So I'm like, look, let's just win the lobsters. You can't prove anything to these people. We've been here for 2 days of sales training. We're going to methodically go through the checklist of everything they said, so it's undeniable. So focus on what you're really trying to do. Are you trying to win the lobsters, or are you trying to go tell them how smart you are? No, you're trying to win the lobsters, and then they will ultimately outsource success to you. A real client will. So the real client doesn't need to know how smart you are. They just need to know that you do know. So back to the question, that's why people can't get their head around it, because they're so anxious to talk about themselves. No, win the lobsters. Just win the lobsters, and you'll be fine.
Hey, Daryl, God, this is so good. There is another question I saw. It's from Moss Mentors. And by the way, a special shout out to Sanjay, because he's calling in all the way from the UK.
Nice. Yeah, so here's a question from Moss Mentors. Don, what's your view on using slides in a Zoom discovery session versus just keeping it as an open discussion?
Yeah. You got to know your client, and know how long you've got and what you're doing. If you're transferring the verbal vomit to slides, it's the same thing, so you want to be able to respect their time. But here's what you need to know. And I heard Dan Sullivan say this early on. It just blew me away when the whole COVID thing started and Zoom became, what I think they have a bigger cap rate now than GM does. I mean, it's just gigantic what Zoom has done. But here's the fallacy about Zoom. Zoom is not a communication device at all. Zoom is a transportation device. It literally is like Star Trek. You've transported yourself there, to somebody else's engagement, and it's a lot like television. I heard, I think it was Rob Lowe or somebody one time talking about, as an actor, the difference between movie and television. He said, movies, you go to a theater, you engage and you leave. But television is special. Television, you're in their home. They have invited you once a week into their house, in their living room with them. There's a completely different emotional connection. And I thought that's the exact same thing Zoom is doing. So to answer your question, I don't know, other than make sure that you're not using it as a communication device, use it as a transportation device. And if you were sitting face to face, would you use slides, or would you have a conversation? Yeah. So really don't look at it as communication vomit. Look at it as, I'm transporting myself. Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty. You were literally transporting somewhere. Take advantage of it and follow the exact same rules, and you make the decision.
Man, we can beam ourselves up. I can make a phone call from my wrist now. This is great.
Now Daryl's geeking out. He's this nerd, and you're talking his language now, dude.
Yeah.
I love this mindset. Don, this has been such an incredible discussion. Well, there's one more question. I just want to pop in here because this is an interesting one. Jennifer, thanks for putting this in. Do any of these promises change when it comes to discussing business with customers outside the U.S.? And as the Canadian host in the group here, I definitely want to know the answer to this question, Don.
Oh, Canada. I love Canada. The answer is no. And we did this as a very, very specific part of the quantifiable study. Again, this was the doctoral study. We purposely studied different languages and different cultures. We purposely studied different product types of sales. Again, fish markets, tortilla, dairy, financial services, all of them, to try to find that universal thing. So the answer is scientifically proven, no, it does not change. Now, there is an old saying called kiss, bow, or shake. In other words, do you kiss on one cheek or two cheeks? Do you bow? How far do you bow, or do you shake hands? Cultural little nuances are fun. They're exciting. I do a lot of work in Mexico, and I know they eat super late at night. So, there's all these little things. But at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all exactly the same. We're all the same creatures of God, right? So gratification bonds you. Education is universal. It's got to be short and sweet, and because they want to outsource to you. And then everybody, there's not a person in the world that wants tomorrow to be more tough than it is today, right? So you go to somebody and say, by engaging us, whatever language, culture, whatever, outside the United States, I'm going to make your tomorrow better. They're in. So great question, but the answer is no. It doesn't change. Little tweaks in culture, but no, it follows the same, and we were able to scientifically prove that.
Wow. Don, I know everyone on the call is either ordered or has it in their checkout right now.
I've seen it in the chat.
The perfect plan. That people are getting this book. You want to grab a copy of this. Buy 3 highlighters along with it because you're going to need them.
Yeah.
I know I did. Don, how can folks learn more? This has been so good today.
Well, first of all, my gift to you guys and what you're doing, I'd love to send you an electronic copy of the book and you just share it with all of your listeners. It's free. It's on me. So share that with anybody. And then just reach out and give me a call. I'm incredibly available. Anybody who wants, if it's about sales and the action involved with that and creating trust and again, to use your term, selling from the heart, that's what it's been about since day one. I'll do anything I can to help anybody possible. So reach out and say, hey, if you got a question, let me know. You guys reach out. I'm literally here to help other people grow their businesses. I adore it. So anything I can do to help any of your viewers, your followers out, I'm happy to do it.
So good. Don, you are a true Selling from the Heart champion. We so appreciate you investing in us today.
Thank you for having me.
Just wonderful. Have a super day.
And hey, by the way, before you leave, by the way, the next time Daryl and I are in Atlanta, we're having dinner with you again.
That's right.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Let me know. We'll get Dave Sanderson out there again too. He's the guy.
That's right. We'll have a super day, Don. Thank you. Speaking of Dave Sanderson, guess who's joining us tomorrow, Larry? We got Dave Sanderson in the house at the 2021 Trust Building Challenge. Dave, if you don't know Dave's story, and you're just going to love his story.
We love Dave.
And his message. Dave
Sanderson.
Dave's was top. He's still a top performing sales professional. He's incredible for some of the largest companies in the world. The other thing that was amazing is how he went from tragedy to triumph. He was the last person off that plane that Sully, you saw the movie, that landed in the Hudson River. He was the last person off that plane. He's going to talk about how that transformed his perspective on life, going to apply that to trust. Tomorrow is going to be incredible. Larry, this challenge is amazing.
I'm going to steal a line from Joe Barrow that he said a while back when Laura Brandeo was on the last challenge. I'm going to run through a brick wall after this one.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel that way. So, hey, I want to challenge everybody. This is not just about sitting here and listening. This is about taking action. I hope, by the way, we know now 10 minutes from now, you're going to remember about 6 to 15% of what we said today. So you got to put this into action. And I really want to seriously take advantage. We'll get you a copy of this book, but go buy one as well so you can leave a review on Amazon for Don and put this into action. Like put this on your desk.
Don't wrinkle the book. Why'd you do that to Don's book?
This is what we do. This is actionable. This is good stuff. I'm gonna wear this one out and probably need to get another one. But seriously, put this into action and take the 3. You want to go deeper into this because it's not just the 3 promises, it's the 3 questions that you need to get engaged on this. And there's a whole mindset and model here that is so powerful to help you build trust. And that's what it's all about. So here's what we want to ask you to do. Get engaged in the LinkedIn group. Share with us. What did you learn from Don today? Try it out. Try it out in your next call.
Yeah.
Begin with gratitude. Educate them on the 2 things that they want to learn about. Don't data dump them, and make it easy to do business. And try it out. Try it out next call, which you're going to be on in 7 minutes if you're watching live. So thanks so much for joining us today. Put your comments, but let us know how it goes. Share it in the LinkedIn group. I just put a link to the private LinkedIn group there. Thanks again to our friends at BombBomb. They're making it really easy for us to rehumanize business and show gratitude with very easy to make and easy to send videos. We appreciate them. Definitely give BombBomb a try at bombbomb.com/heart. And Larry, I am so excited about all that's happening here and this incredible group of people that's assembling from around the world to say, I want to grow in trust. And it's such an honor to be here, and I'm fired up about this.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and you can't see it, but I got goosebumps on my arms just because, I look back on the last year and a half as we really started to bring this message to the forefront and build this community. And it's nice to see now that it's global. We get to hang out with some of the coolest people like Marcus Ogden and Don Barden, Dave Sanderson tomorrow, Dr. Maria Church on Friday, and next week with Todd Capone. I mean, this is just a blessing. It's an honor honor for you guys to follow us at Selling from the Heart and the journey. Dave Sanderson, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Prepare yourself. You're in for a massive treat with Dave Sanderson.
All right, everybody, put this into action. Check in the LinkedIn group on how it works for you. Let's build trust together, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us today for the 2021 Trust Building Challenge. Building trust requires action. Your challenge to take what you have learned today and work together to put it into action right away. If you enjoyed the ideas and inspiration you've received today, please take a moment to share this challenge with your friends and clients. Let's all take action. We'll see you again tomorrow.